What's up, guys? Welcome back to another live stream. Thanks so much for hopping on today. Those of you who are joining us live, this is going to be an interactive live stream where we get to just chat about worship and tech stuff or any questions, worship leading questions. You know, I'm not just a tech guy. I'm actually mainly a worship pastor that just has to figure out all the tech stuff as well. And maybe that's your story. If you're watching right now, let me know where you're watching from. I saw we got some people jumping in from all over the place, and it's just great to see you guys. If you're watching this later, there's going to be chapter markers, so you can just kind of jump around to the different topics or live stream reviews, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. But let's see who all's here for this Thursday afternoon live stream, changing it up a little bit, you know? I'm trying to actually spend some time with my family while I'm off on Fridays now that my kids are out of school. So let's see, we got... I have a friend that is Tobias, but I always said Tobias, so I don't know, but you're from Germany. That's awesome. Hopping on the live stream today. Thanks for joining us today. And we've got Troy from Luna. Okay. Altoona. Sorry, my camera is in the way. I don't know if you guys can see. No, you can't see. I have like a 55-inch TV. I used to use like a teleprompter and have it like right here and then have a glass thing with my camera so I could, in a screen pointing up so I could look right at the camera. Now, I couldn't see anything though. So now I just use my 55-inch TV with my camera like right in the middle of it basically. So if I glance up to the left part of the TV, I'm sure you can see my eyes kind of going that way, but now I'm looking back at the camera. It just seems to work a little better and it's easier for me when I'm doing these live stream reviews. So, all right, we got Jeff coming in from Fort Myers, Florida, and Jake from Rockford, Michigan, and another Jeff from Philly, PA. Yes, awesome, man. That's so cool. I love just seeing where you guys are all joining from. You know, I'm just a good old Okie. I'm in Owasso, Oklahoma, which is kind of by the Tulsa area, if you aren't familiar with Green Country, as we call it here, the 918. So thanks you guys for hopping on. Let's jump into some stuff that I've just kind of seen out there in the worship tech world that's, you know, piqued my interest. Thought I always like sharing these things with you guys. And then go ahead and post those questions in the comment section below, and we'll jump in. If you see a question that you already know the answer to, just answer it, because I may not know the answer and I may have to make it up. So, yeah. All right, let's jump over to just some worship and tech stuff that I've seen. If you guys have seen the what's it called? The rhythm track from Defy that has just been blowing up everywhere. They're really starting to push it. The rhythm track is like this motorized dolly system that is unmanned that can go like super fast or super slow and do really precise movements. The problem is that it's like $100,000, I want to say. You know, it's insane. It can get cool shots, but you know, we have a cable cam that can kind of get some of that stuff, but I'm really wanting to add another motorized slider that goes back and forth at the edge of our sound booth. Now, those 48-inch sliders that I've linked to and done many reviews about, they're great, but it's not far enough or fast enough to really show the dramatic movement. And so these have been out for a little bit, part of it, but then now they're doing a Kickstarter. Oh, that's not the right thing. Hold on. Now they're doing a Kickstarter. Rhino Dolly is for this new track system that is extendable however long you want it to be. So you can see there they've got it on a couple of stands. It's got a motorized thing where you can pre-program your moves. This one did like, I think it can do maybe 5 different keyframes, which would be really neat to just have it looping back and forth maybe across the front of your sound booth if you're in the middle of the worship center. Now, this price-wise, I think that little Rhino Arc 2 that's been around for a while, that's the motorized part. I think it's like $2,000. And I want to say these track units to get like the 6-foot one is like maybe a couple $1,000. It's right now it's on Kickstarter, and I'm not a fan of doing things on Kickstarter, but Rhino is a company that's been doing this for a long time. So they're just kind of trying to source the funds to get the initial batches going, I guess. So I don't know. It looks very intriguing though, and I've watched some other videos, and it can go pretty fast to where it might be worth it. So I don't know if you guys have used Rhino or not, but it looks like, it could be an interesting, maybe alternative to the rhythm track. Definitely not nearly as feature filled, but for the price, maybe a mid-sized church could kind of get into that. I got an email from my favorite royalty-free music company, Soundstripe, this week, where they, I guess because I've been a member so long, they actually just upgraded me to the pro account. And then I went and looked today, and let me drop a link here in the comments for you guys too, that if you use the code Ryland or just use that link, you get a discount. I can't even remember what it is. Maybe it's 10, 15, 20% off. But what's cool now is that we have stems available at this mid-level package, which is really helpful. If you watched my video that came out a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday actually, I think it was yesterday morning, Pad King, which we'll talk about in a minute, I use stems from that. So you know what stems are. It's just every instrument in the broken out, so you can mix individually, which is so helpful when you're doing stuff like this. But I love Soundstripe. We use it for all of our countdown music. Those two songs you heard at the beginning of the show were both Soundstripe stuff. But so yeah, they kind of give some upgrades there in the last week. So check out that. Restream, I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but Restream is now up in their game a little bit more, because before they did not have a way to embed your live stream on your website. Not that I think that's really all that important, honestly, but in the case that YouTube or Facebook starts flagging your stream and maybe not sending it out to people, I guess you'd have that backup where Restream would be going onto your website. And so that is available for this professional plan, which is $41 a month. But remember, the coupon code REStudio50, REStudio50, gets you 50% off the entire year. So right now we pay $250 a year for Restream. So I'm a big fan of Restream. Check it out. If I don't know what you guys are using for your encoding, but right now I'm just going through just my A10 Mini Extreme straight out, straight to YouTube, which works usually. So that's been good. Before I jump into the final little tech thing there, let's see what questions you guys have, and jump into some of that. All right. Believe, is it possible to connect an X32 and an X32 compact together to have a front of house live stream separate? Mix, I think is what he meant to put, not mic. Yeah, we don't do it that way, but I'm can almost guarantee that I think over AES 50, you can do that. Are any of you guys, let's see. Jeff says, yeah, you can connect them AES 50 to each other and then set up the routing. It's also possible of a stage box connected. Yeah, that's part of the cool feature of that. Tobias says, thoughts on 4K church live stream? Well, I think it's not necessary, but I think it's probably closer than we imagine it probably is. Well, I shouldn't say it's closer. I think it's more within reach than it has been previously. That cameras, are outputting 4K over the HDMI more frequently. The cost, the overhead to get into that is lower. Internet bandwidth, at least in cities like mine, is becoming more readily available. They're installing fiber in my neighborhood currently, So I think that it's more within reach, but I don't think it's necessary. I mean, if you think about it like this, most people are watching on their cell phones, and how many of you, since you started watching this live stream as tech guys, went to your settings and clicked advanced and chose 1080p? I want you to raise your hand in the comments if you did that. If you're watching in 1080p currently on this live stream, go ahead and raise your hand so we can kind of get that. Just because we, of all people, should be taking advantage of that high resolution if you can. So I just don't think that most people are going to have that benefit. They're not even going to have a device yet that really can play it. TVs for sure are doing it more, but I don't think it's like the difference is really that easy to see. And so, yeah, I don't think that it's anything we need to worry about. But as we buy switchers and stuff, the new Constellations from ATEM don't have 4K, I don't think, do they? And so I think that was a little surprising that they wouldn't have that. So that's my initial thoughts. Let's see, you guys. Okay, we got a couple of you that are watching in 1080p. Yeah. Uh-oh, Jake says, funding for this project was canceled by the project creator. Might not be available anymore. Well, if it's not available anymore, they need to stop sending me ads for it. I mean, I looked at it yesterday and it looked like it had met the funding. And so I think that it said in May they were collecting, maybe you can't back it anymore and you have to wait for it to come out. So that's interesting, Jake. I don't know. I need to look a little closer at that. Oh, this is interesting. The stage boxes also have 2 AES-50 ports, so you can have separate gain staging that way. That's super handy, and probably, I mean, it's a nice feature. I don't know that it's a necessity. I almost said necessity, whatever. But yeah, that's a great feature for sure. Jay Walker, hey Rylan, do you guys use audience mics for live streams? So how many and which ones? That's a great question. I harp on having audience mics, or at least some of that liveness in the room somehow every time I review these live streams. Yes, we use audience mics. So the way we have ours positioned is, if you ever look at our live stream, which is just CBC Owasso on YouTube, Central Baptist Church Owasso, we have a light bar that sits right behind our line arrays. And so we have a microphone on each end of that sits behind the PA, but is pointed out at the congregation. Mine are not worried about the wide areas of the room, mainly just that center section capturing voices. They are shotgun mics. They're older AKGs that we had, or maybe they're Audio Technicas. I don't know. They've been up there for years, and I just have them positioned with fishing line, to get them hung at the right angle and everything. So I would say they're maybe a little too directional. Cardioid is, or super cardioid maybe. A lot of people like that more than a shotgun style microphone for audience mics, but we do not do any miking out in the room. Like some people will do it at their soundboard area and then delay or set the delay of those mics, to be matched up. We don't have to worry about that. So that's the way we do it. It may not even be the right way. I don't know. That's just the way we do it. But it definitely helps for sure. Mainly on times whenever your band has come down and you want to hear the crowd singing. So I posted I think there's a video from this last week from us doing Broken Vessels. And, at the end we drop out and you can really hear the congregation singing. And that's definitely very, very important. So if you guys have any suggestions on what audience mics to use, drop those in the comments for them. Oh. Well, y'all know more than me about this. We literally just got our first digital stage box like a month ago for our new venue, and I didn't mess with it. We paid our integrators to do that. So I guess listen to these guys. They know what they're talking about. All right. Awesome. I don't know if you guys will put question, like start your question with question, : and it's just easier for me to find as I'm going through these. That'll help me out. Hey, watching from Sweden. That's awesome. Slovakia in the house. Joseph. That's so cool. And Doug from Fresno. Sweet. Let's look at, did I have any other worship tech stuff that I was going to hit on? No, I guess that was it. You guys got any more questions before we jump into these live stream reviews? Oh, here's a good question. Hey, Rylan, how are you doing? That's it. Thank you for asking, Connor. I'm doing well. Summer has started for us here in Oklahoma. Kids are out of school. And so there's all these little projects that are happening now that, you have a tiny bit more free time, but I've got a youth camp that I'm leading for in a couple weeks and just all kinds of craziness. I've been working on designing all these. We're doing a bunch of vinyl banner graphics onto certain walls for directional signage, and I got put in charge of designing all that. So, having to do a bunch of measurements and laser stuff, and it's just a mess. But which is why I'm doing this live stream today. But I'm doing very well, Connor. I hope you are doing well too. Josh, shout out. Thank you, brother. And this guy has great internet, even out at the lake. He's on vacation. Hey, I just used your microphone, Pastor Clayton, to do a video that's coming out probably tomorrow, guys, a comparison of the headset mic that he uses, our pastor. It's the DPA 6066, which is like $1,000 microphone, and we love it. It's amazing. But I'm putting it up head to head against our $50 Amazon special dual headset microphone, and we'll just let you guys be the judge if you can skimp by with that microphone for maybe your youth leader or other people talking on stage, or maybe a kids program. Like for me, we have 11 lapels that I have to put together for a VBS musical in a couple of weeks. Yes, he does love that mic, so we'll see. If it's good, we'll just sell that mic and pad my budget with what we sell. Oh. All right, let's jump into some live stream reviews, fellas. Here is the deal. We have how many? 22 of you have submitted your live streams for review since 2 weeks ago, I think is when we did these last time. So, let me do that. Yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to say it. If you are passionate about wanting yours reviewed this time, if you'll super chat any amount, $1, whatever, that will put you to the top of the pack, and we'll go ahead and do it. Don't feel like you have to do that, but I mean, we're not going to have time to do all 22 of these. So let's just jump into them, and don't be shy. If you guys see something there as we watch, help me out. I'll do my best to give good feedback. This is from Isaac Sandoval, Second Chance Community Church, and they have Nikon stuff. Nikon Z50, an 810, a D750, a bunch of Nikon stuff, a couple of GoPros. They're using the X32, and they're using Logic Pro for their audio stuff. So he wants the most help with the audio mix. So let's just look at theirs, and you guys, let's give him some feedback here. Unmute this.
You did it with your heart because you loved us.
All right, we got a little service starting prayer here.
It's gonna be in Spanish, but I'm pretty sure you guys know it in English.
All right, so we're gonna let it play here in just a minute, but I'm going to turn this down and just play for a moment. Right off the bat, I'm noticing you got a lot of lights and a lot of wash going on behind people and everything, which I think is great. But what I'm noticing is it's just not super intentional the way you're using it. These may not be DMX controlled. You may just have these set on preset. They're going to move, they're going to do a gobo and go over here and change color. And then you've got your backwash that's just kind of fading between different colors. To me, that's distracting and not very intentional. We don't just have this technology just to be able to let it just roll and do its thing. Try to be intentional and thoughtful about, using color theory to help tie in the songs and all that kind of stuff. So let's listen now. He wanted the most help with the audio mix. So right off the bat, I'd say you're too hot. It's overdriven. So whatever you're sending into Logic, or out of Logic, sorry, into OBS, might need to cut that back some. I will say that your drums, from what I can hear, actually sound pretty good. It looks like you've got acoustic drums over there. I can hear kick and snare. It's just everything's overdriven. All right, let's fast forward, because sometimes, you know, people submit these live streams and then they fix something later on. So let's just check real quick. He did say they've got all those cameras, but no camera operators. And so look into some of those things that I've implemented into ours, where we don't have to have operators at every camera, but we add motion to the shots. You could even, if you have an ATEM, pre-program a macro that just cycles between these cameras. So that way, you know, after 20 seconds, it's going to a different shot for a few seconds. If they're in safe positions, that's one way to also make it more interesting. All right, so that's about as much as I think I can give feedback-wise on that one, because it's just hard to hear through the overdrivenness. You guys notice anything else there? Isaac, thanks so much for submitting. I hope that helped you out some. Deleted. Oh, okay. Straighten the horizon on the fixed cams. I don't know. Is that talking to me or him? I don't know. All right, let's go on to this next one. The Pentecostals of West Houston, David Sotelo. ATEM Mini Extreme. They've got Blackmagic Pocket 4Ks. Waiting some different lenses. Review our May 1st stream. They want the most help with camera angles. All right, so let's look at their May 1st stream. Oh, goodness. What's May 1st? That's a long time ago. You've had this submitted that long? That's crazy. Do they have the dates? 420. No, I can't see it. Oh, I went past it, didn't I? There we are. Sunday, 10 a.m. Sorry, my camera's in the way of it. That's the only problem with putting my camera there. Okay, here we go.
The Lord this morning. There is no other reason why we are here but to worship him and to give him glory.
Don't have delay going while people are talking. I know it's really easy to forget, but
he is worthy of all the praise and all the glory and all the honor. God, we worship you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
Very purpley.
Hallelujah.
I saw somebody talking about skin tones for African Americans. Who was it? It was YC Imaging, talking about how actually if you go with a more tungsten look, it actually is more pleasant on darker skin tones. That's just something I heard this week. So maybe for that key light, even making sure it's a warmer, or just white balancing a little warmer maybe. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. We're all the way up. Got some energy. Yeah, if this is Blackmagic Pocket 4K, you should be able to pull more dynamic range out of them. So if you do have even a couple cameras, it'd be great to just open up on that wide shot if you can, for when we're starting out. This is not a bad shot. I don't love how much headroom is in this shot. You've got the upper third of the frame. It's more like this. Wow. So, and I saw a glitch there. I don't know. I hope that wasn't me. I hope it was you. But I would lower that shot, you know, to where there's not as much headroom there. It's just kind of a black wall with your LEDs. And then, okay, this camera, that's a great looking shot right there. It's got some depth of field to it. Even there though, your headroom is a little much. So you could lower that. Just thinking about, that one's a little bit better, but okay, now we got some on this side. Same kind of thing though. We have a lot of headroom. You got basically people's heads in the center of the frame, and you actually want them on the upper third. What are you guys thinking? Okay. Let's listen. Yeah. Your lower thirds on that center shot get a little hard to read. And honestly, that's one of the reasons that we went to, oh, that's kind of a nice shot. Oh, you got your MD there. On that center shot though, it's a little hard to read your lower third. So like right there, that's one of the reasons we went to that cinematic box look, because we got tired of people wearing white shirts and not be able to see it, you know, and I really didn't want to add a big stroke or shadow to it, even though I know you could. Yeah, looks a little saturated, a little purplish to me. Yeah, those are my thoughts. There's a praise. That song's gonna be stuck in my head. I don't even know it. But hold the phone, people. Jeff Richmond in the house with a super chat. $1. Sweet. That will pay for my iced coffee that I drank earlier. Actually, not really. I think that iced coffee's $2 that come and go. But Jeff, all right, let me find. I'm assuming that's because you submitted a live stream. So let me figure out here. Oh, hold on now. Yeah, I'm gonna come over here and find Jeff's submission. Thank you, David, for submitting that. Hopefully I gave you some semi-helpful thoughts there. All right, not that one. There's a praise in this house. We're doing a new song Sunday. We're doing Same God by Elevation Worship. That one's been stuck in my head for quite a while now. It's cute though. You know, it's a good song whenever your kids are walking around the house singing it, and I don't know, it has some staying power, I guess, or it's kind of an earworm. Jeff, Jake, I see yours. You're not too far down the line. I think you were about 6 down the line. So, I'll find yours though, and then we'll get to it. Jeff, were you were literally the last one. So for $1, you went from number 21 to number 1. It's all it takes, people. I can be bought. All right. So this is Jeff Richmond with The Block Church. I don't think I've ever heard that name of a church. The Block Church. If it says, if it doesn't look right, start around 2120. Okay. Let's copy this. Running an ATEM constellation for switching, like the old school constellation, I'm assuming. Blackmagic cameras, 1 Ursa broadcast, some Pocket 4Ks, and a couple 6Ks. Nice cameras. Broadcast audio is Logic with the Production Online Mix template. With a good mix. Who makes that one? Production Online Mix template. Is that I don't know who makes that. Broadcasting 1080p via Resi. He wants the most help with just shot directing. So let's pull it up. He said if it doesn't look right, go to 21 minutes. So it worked. All right. Ooh. The Block Church in the house. So I really prefer this shot that he's got versus that. The last stream we saw kind of like a over the shoulder of the pianist. I love this shot where it's more down the key bed.
Yes, Lord. Well, you guys ready to take it a little bit higher today? Come on.
Great shot there.
Come on.
All right, now you got some audience participation.
Right now. I don't see you dancing there. I don't see you dancing there. Come on.
I feel like it's not as loud as the other ones. It's hitting okay on my meters. Love that over the shoulder shot. This guy must be on a gimbal. It's great. Maybe a little tight on the drums. I don't know.
Holy is your name. I don't wanna take it in vain. Everybody clap like this.
I like that I can hear some crowd. I mean, you're hearing the clapping. You're hearing the little woo. But it's sitting nicely in the mix. It's got that stereo spread, so I don't know how you're doing it audience mics, but it's nice. Yeah, I'm maxed out on volume. I feel like it could be a tiny bit louder. The problem is you start compressing everything and then you lose that punch of the kick and the snare. I'm ready to get into like an actual groove though. So let's go ahead. There we go. No one. Uh-oh. No one. No one. Don't you love that whenever you go to the camera as they're like moving it, you know? It's just part of the live stream. It's tough. You gotta communicate. I like that focus pull. I love the pacing of this. You know, this is an upbeat song, it's a fun song, and we're cutting at a good pace for this song. Oh, trying the little Bethel move there. All right. Now, one thing that's cool is in all these shots, I don't know that I've seen your cameraman on stage, either of them. So you're hiding them well with your shot selection, your compositions. A lot of times you'll see your cameraman on stage because I know they're up there. That was kind of a cool try to like quick pull. Oh, there's your camera guy using wireless. You happy with your wireless stuff so far? No glitches. I love just that the tight, medium, like a waist up shot here with the LED wall in the background. All right, I'm gonna try and give you some things to improve on. People wearing hats. It's hard, you know. It's hard to see his eyes and stuff when he's putting his head down. And if you have an LED wall, you could probably do some foot lighting there at the front of the stage for your vocals if they're gonna wear hats. It's not bad, but okay. It's the Luke Hendrickson Bethel Church. I don't know that I love your lower thirds to me. They're not bad. What do you guys think? I mean, I love just the alternating of the close-ups, and it's a very handheld feel. I know, obviously, you're kind of maybe going for that Bethel vibe with the way they do their live stream. So let's listen to the mix and just see if we can give any feedback on the mix. I will say for the amount of background vocalists, it's nice where they're sitting in the mix. I think maybe the only thing I can say to you guys is maybe figure out better communication between your camera ops and your directors. There's been a few of those, you know, where they're moving the camera and they didn't know they were still live. One thing that has happened, or we've had to learn and be really intentional about, is not only telling people when they're live, but also when they're safe, you know? So whatever system works for you there. I don't know, some churches have a separate director and a separate producer. We're all together. But let's listen and see if we can hear any of the audience here. See, there was another time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nobody, there's nobody.
Still hear that clapping and stuff? Yeah. So those are some of my thoughts, man. Jeff, good job. You guys are doing a great job of helping that translate. That was a cool transition. Zoom out right as you cut away from them, you know. That kind of thing can be cool. So very solid, very solid. All right. We got some more super chats in the house. Solomon Garcia from Faith Church Lubbock out in West Texas. Lubbock. You know where Sundown is? I got a lot of family from Sundown. Faith Church Lubbock. I feel like maybe I played there one time. Maybe not. It probably was a different church. All right. Solomon, you were next with the super chat, so I'm assuming that that you submitted a live stream here, unless you just are feeling generous today. So let's go find yours, and you will be next. I need to delete that one, or else I might accidentally do it twice. All right, here we go. We're looking for Solomon. Stanford, Bryson. There's Solomon. Faith Church Lubbock. All right. No, not that. That. And that. Too many things to click, y'all. All right. We're using a Sony F5 for this conference. We've ordered the F6, but it has not arrived yet. He wants help with the audio mix. So, sweet. That's one thing I do like about getting to review the audio mix, is I feel like everybody can get a pretty good idea of this and give feedback in the comments and stuff. So let's, is there a band or is it, here we go. Now you didn't tell me how you're doing the audio mixing, so I'm going to assume this is built in on a board or something. Okay, using Studio One for it. I'm just kind of giving it a good listen. Halftime. I like that I can hear them, the audience. Nice scream. I wouldn't be able to sing after that. So you got your drummer MD in. All right. Let's go. It's a pretty solid mix. It's almost like the vocal, I wanted to have a little bit more like verb or something on it from him. Let's listen to this one.
When all I see is the battle, you see my victory. Oh yeah.
What's his mic technique like? Is he covering the capsule?
When all I see is the mountain, you see
No? Okay.
the mountain move. Come on, lift your voice.
I don't know, just,
And as I walk
it's
through
like,
the shadow,
they're just, I don't know, something about the lead vocals to me are, I don't know if it's the EQ or just they're a little like on top of everything, it seems like.
nothing to feed now, for I
It's not bad.
Lift your voice everywhere. Come on. Hey, so when I fight, come on, lift your voice. With
I want that lower register presence though that I'm missing. I feel like. What are you guys hearing? Okay, using some wave plugins. You see what I mean about the vocals? I don't know. Like, it's tough because in worship music, you definitely need to hear the vocal, right? Because it's speaking the words and the scripture and leading people, right? And so, I don't know. It's just maybe if you take this and compare it to that recording from Phil Wickham and try to hear how he's got his vocals mixed, because I think they've even got a choir on that track, and just kind of A-B it back and forth if you can like replay stuff like that and try to dial in those vocals a little bit more. I don't know. There's just something about them that just don't sit quite right in the mix to me.
Jesus is nothing impossible for you.
It's like I want more kick too. I don't know if you're utilizing any panning of your vocals either. You got quite a few vocalists. If you can manage panning and stuff, that'd be helpful too. So, Solomon, does that help you out some? Vocals sit on top of the mix has been the issue. Yeah, so if you guys know, like, I struggle. I don't want to a lot of times do that like spatial thing where you spread the vocals out, because I feel like not having them in the center channel is kind of weird to me for the lead vocal. So I don't know. Maybe try that. You can try that template that the last church used, because maybe that would be helpful with the vocals. So thank you though, Solomon, for submitting, and thank you for the super chat, because you went from. Were you the one that went from 21 to 1? I don't know. That may have been Jeff. Actually, that was Jeff, wasn't it? But we got another super chat in the house. Connor McFarland, $2. Here's for the rest of that iced coffee. Love the vids. Awesome. Thank you. It's not iced anymore. I've had it too long, but it's still good. Connor, thank you so much. Did you submit a live stream? Let's check and see, because I don't want to forget you if you did. It'll just take me a second, because we're going to go through and delete Solomon's. Let's look. I'll just say who's in the queue here. Oh yeah, he did. He was last, but he got to be first now. St. Peter's UMC. Cool. All right. Connor, thank you for submitting. They have PTZ optics cameras. Uh-oh. You know how I feel about those. Television Studio HD with Extron encoding. I don't know what Extron encoding is, so I'm assuming that's a hardware encoder. But they're using PTZs, and he wants the most help with cameras and coloring, so we'll see what we can do. Let's look at it, Connor. I have a question for you guys as we get into this one. There was a huge debate going on the other day about, should we have countdowns on our live streams, or should we just start right away? From my experience, the countdown is actually pretty important. Number one, it allows you to troubleshoot if anything is wrong. Number two, it actually allows people to find your stream and get it put up, because, you know, the algorithms are sending things out to people at different ways. And what I've found is those first 10 minutes of our stream, it's people kind of finding it and getting on it.
Okay,
so
well, if we could invite you guys to stand, feel free to sing out.
Here we go. I can't hear the drums. Your guitarist sounds nice though, but I can see your drummer kind of shimmering. So camera wise, This is classic like PTZ angle to me. You've probably got like two PTZs kind of up a little bit and pointed down at the stage. Yeah, stuff like that happens. You got your countdown starting over or something. But to me, I prefer an angle that's a little bit lower, that's just kind of shooting over the top of the crowd instead of kind of like up and down. Color-wise, like your skin tones look pretty good. I mean, I know there's a lot of LED colors going on in that, but as far as your main singer there, his skin tone looks really nice. Let's see if you go to any other cameras. It seems a little contrasty to me too. Like if maybe you can back down the contrast just a little bit, the saturation a little bit. Those colors seem like pretty poppin'. But your skin tones look pretty decent for a PTZ. Here's the second angle. That seems a little better, but it also doesn't look level. If I'm looking at the slats of all of the backdrop behind you, it doesn't look level. Let's listen for a minute. So there's just no reason why, when you have your drums caged like that, these toms should be popping. It sounded like I could hear that tom like in somebody's vocal mic over next to him. I don't know. That's just a preference thing, but at least they do match. Your cameras match. Here we go between them. Let's just go between them here. We got this shot, center shot. The other thing I would say is use your cameras to their benefit. The PTZs should be able to have pre-programmable stations and zooms and focus. And right now I'm just seeing the two different ones. I mean, utilize for what they are good at, which would be, you know, when we go to this one, it's a tight shot that is focused on your lead singer. Then you can reframe this one to be a wider shot of the whole stage. And then you can, while this one's on, reframe to have this one be on your female vocalist up tight. And have preset buttons that can actually take advantage of what is actually decent about a PTZ. If all you're going to do is have these static cameras, then there's really no need to have a PTZ. So let's see if you're saying anything, Connor, about it. Okay, you started doing that. Look at the song after Communion. Okay, I don't know when Communion was. Let's just keep going here. Y'all probably do Communion every week and like it's the same time every time, but we have Communion once a quarter. So we actually have it more than that, but we're a Baptist church, so Communion is not a weekly thing. So, okay, is he leading Communion right here? No, we got video announcements. When is Communion, Connor? We got preaching. Because I didn't really see anything else happening unless he does Communion at the end. Okay. Oh. It's like in the round with the table there in the middle. Is this like oh, you superimposed the cross with like a little dissolve. Okay, I see what you did. That's interesting. So you did Communion. It's an interesting setup. I still feel like this camera is not level though, so maybe double check that. There you go. There we go. Let's listen to the audio mix too, guys. Give them feedback. You can maybe bring that down just a hair on the headroom, but I want like a little more clarity in his vocal, just like a little more top end. The piano and the other things are kind of taking up that space to me. It is a pretty wide image though, like stereo wise, it sounds pretty good. Same thing, this could be a little bit less headroom. Like you want, see where my head is on this frame? Yours is kind of here. It's just a little tiny detail that probably doesn't matter to most people at all. Skin tone on her looks real yellow there. I don't know what you're using lighting wise that's different. This guy versus her. If you can get consistent key lighting, that would be helpful for your front vocalist at least. Sorry, I should probably turn that down so you can actually hear me. There you go. Going over to your bassist. Yeah, so doing stuff like that is great. And if they are programmable to have like a zoom out, I know that's probably more expensive ones. I think you're doing what you can with it. There you go. And then just try to be purposeful about like when you're doing these switches. Maybe trying to like, let's see if he hits it on this. So I would probably go to another camera there on that big shot instead of in between a measure. So even if you just got another, you could still use these cameras and mix in maybe a couple others with it. You know, a more handheld or a stage cam, a close-up of one of your instrumentalists or something like that, just to vary it, where it's not just always from this one plane at the back looking towards the stage, you know. Watch that video that I've got on my channel called 10 different camera angles for live streams, and maybe that will give you some ideas. All right, that was all the super chats, right? I think I got them all. I'm seeing some good comments there in the chat, so Connor, make sure and look at those as well. All right, we've been going almost an hour, guys. Can you believe it? It's crazy. Let's see here. We're gonna go back to the top and see who's at the top of the pile. Connor, you are deleted. Hey, look, we're down to 18. I think people keep submitting, and then it just, I don't know that I'm ever gonna get through these. One of these days, I'm just gonna have to like clear it and say, sorry, you're gonna have to resubmit. Okay, number 1. Oh, you know what? I already did that one. That's good. So we're down to 17. All right, this is Julio with Christian Fellowship Ministry. Let's do this so you guys can see here. In the Bronx. We have 2 Blackmagic studio cameras, first gen. One in the back with a wide shot to the front and a second pointing to the people. Okay. Then one Sony camera that's mobile, ATEM 1ME. He would like the most help on shot comp. So Julio, let's take a look and see. Got your countdown. Here we go. I would advise you guys, if you're not doing it, to go ahead and start adding chapters to your YouTube videos afterwards, or just going ahead and going to the YouTube studio and trimming them to where they start here or start at your sermon, or at least put a chapter marker for when your sermon starts, because those chapter markers are getting Google searched. So, you know, maybe like this week we have a sermon about creation, and so we probably will add a chapter marker for each point talking about answering a question that someone might have about that, because it would be searchable. So that's just another tip for you. All right, Julio, let's look at your stream here. This is a Blackmagic Studio, first gen. And you can kind of tell, you know, look at that highlight roll off on her face. And is it losing focus? Is it getting vibration or something? Maybe you were just grabbing focus there. Okay, yeah, that's good. You were just pulling focus to her. All right, so you dialed it back a little bit, dialed your exposure back. Are we starting yet? Let's get to when this kicks in. Doing a little call to worship here. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. She's pretty hot in the mix. Vocal mic. Wow. I could use more snare, more kick. Also, her vocal mic is pretty direct sounding. I mean, you do have some verb on there, but I don't know if you have audience mics, Julio. All right, so shot directing is what he wanted the most help with. This shot is not a bad shot at all, but I would just, if you have these other cameras, just mix it up, man. Okay, we got, what was that? I thought they went to a different shot there for a second. There we go. With a fast-paced, upbeat song like this, like, I would just be trying to show more of the energy. Your people are super involved and super expressive, so that first shot helps that translate with everybody waving their, praise banners or whatever you guys call those. But just trying to match the energy that's in the room with like the directing style. And so there you go. At least you got some panning there. I'm not really a fan of these kind of shots just because that's just not our culture at our church to show people worshiping. But if people are cool with it, go for it, I just always laugh at people like that do iMag and then they'll show the people in the room and you can see like they're not really, like they're just kind of singing, but then they see themselves on screen and then they're like worshiping. So I don't know. All right, so you said you had one that was handheld, like a Sony or something. Here's one that kind of looks like that. Just get them around going in the mix. There you go, your drummer. That's a good shot. All right, Julio. I think those are my initial thoughts. Hopefully the guys in the comments gave you some as well. Okay. Timothy says, PTZ Optics is supposed to be adding MIDI controls, so that could translate into better ability to program them. I mean, yeah, that would be really interesting if you could, think about being able to have it all run from ProPresenter, sending out MIDI notes. You could pre-program literally your whole worship set if you're using like a timeline, and then each slide could have sending a MIDI note. You could do that all in Ableton and stuff too. I'm just saying simpler. I don't know. I know a Stream Deck with Companion. Can Companion send MIDI notes? And then maybe you could use a Stream Deck to do all that too and not have to buy a separate controller. Like a lot of those controllers can be expensive. So that's interesting. I've installed PTZ one time at a different church and I just was not a fan. And then I've just never been a fan really on any of the ones that I see for the cost benefit in most churches, because people use it as an excuse of like, well, we just can't find volunteers. Yeah, you can. Work a little bit harder. Train some youth. It's the jobs we're doing are not that hard. So I want to pause for just a minute and just take some questions from you guys. We've been going for almost an hour now. And I think that's all the live stream reviews that we're going to have time for today. So unless I get a super chat that forces me to review your stream right now, then that's where we're going to stop with those, because I really just want to have a conversation with you guys and chat about anything, any questions that you might have. Thank you for, great advice on adding chapter markers. I think I saw somebody else. YouTube chapters are awesome, perfect for a church service. I really think that YouTube chapters are going to be more powerful than people realize, because like I was saying, I don't know if you've noticed, but maybe you Google how to repair broken lift gate on Town and Country. Maybe I've done that recently. I don't know if you've noticed, but like there might be search results that come up that actually, when you click on them in Google, it takes you straight to that point in the video. Not like just to that video, like to that point in the video. And just think how much more powerful that can be for us to present answers to people's faith questions that are just indexed in Google via YouTube chapter markers. So we literally are just beginning that. My intern, that's part of his job. So, man, Josh, let's go. Josh Chilton in the house. $10. Come on. You can ask anything you want. He says, no live stream submitted, but thanks for investing into the church. Josh, thanks, dude. I really appreciate it. Even if you are from Texas, still appreciate you. No, seriously, that's awesome. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate that. I love getting to do this and just make these videos and try to help out however I can. But it is a time investment, And so I don't know if you guys saw that I came out with a video yesterday called The King of Pads or Pad King, kind of putting these 4 creators who I'm sure you're familiar with, Churchfront and Worship Tutorials and Sunday Sounds and Abel Mendoza, That Worship Sound. They have these great pads. And so I have developed just some simple worship pads as well that I'm giving away for free. And you can go check that video out. But I did crown a winner. So you have to go watch that video and chime in and who you think has the best ambient worship pads. And these are just MP3s. They're not like patches that you play in main stage. There's thousands of those out there. So thoughts on how to improve our stream with a $0 budget. I've been trying to think, and we're adding a broadcast station, but I can't think of much else. Yeah, I think it's those intangible things or things that don't cost money that you can do with your stream without buying any new equipment. Training volunteers is probably the first thing that I would invest into. There's so much free YouTube content out there. I've got lots on my channel of just ideas and tips and tricks and ways you can improve your stream. Maybe even just education of your volunteers on what you're going for, as far as like what style of stream you're going for. Sitting down, watching some different streams with them, and y'all just chatting about like, why do we like that? Like, what is it about the way they're doing it that translates in a way that we want to try and do in our church? And just having like a lot of feedback between each other. Directing and camera operation goes a long ways. Audio is always something that it doesn't usually cost you anything to improve. That is just a lot of time and dialing things in. So that's probably the first thing that I would say. Now that you said that, in earshot of my iPhone, I'll start getting those in my feed. That is so true, right? It's honestly a little creepy. Like, I mean, we have Alexas all in our house, and you can't say anything because, yeah, your feeds now are going to be full of whatever ads for whatever that thing may be. It's funny sometimes, we ran out of this product or whatever. Don't be sure and get some. And then next thing you know, you're seeing ads for it on Instagram. So don't tell me it's not listening. It's always listening, even when muted. I bet it is. Not that I'm that freaked out. We have a bunch of them in our house. Let's see if I missed any other questions here. All right. On that question I asked about countdowns, your thoughts. Countdowns are important. It lets people online know when it will start. And it lets the people on stage know how much time they have left. They make sure that you start on time. Yeah, I think that the argument that somebody was posting was, that's fine for in-house, but it's unnecessary for a live stream. And I'm guilty of that too. Like, maybe I'll see somebody starting a live stream and I maybe want to check it out, but it's got 5 minutes left. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and watch this countdown for 5 minutes. But what it does is, it's in my head now, I'm going to come back to it, where I might have missed the beginning of the thing if that wasn't there. Plus the tech things, just, I don't know how many times we've started ours and been like, oh, the audio is actually not coming through. So, David, I can check. What other questions you guys got? What do you use to bring your comment overlay up? I'm wanting to start doing some streaming stuff and looking for something like that. Yeah, so there is this free program called H2R Graphics. And if you go to heretorecord.com, you can download it. I actually have the paid version, but the free one can do all of this, and it will pull in your chat. Now, if you use Restream, there's other ones out there that have that built in as well that I've used and liked. But this is H2R Graphics, and it's pretty simple. It's cool because I'm using my iPad to actually like pull in y'all's chat comments via here, so I'm not having to like find that window on my MacBook amidst all the other windows that are open. So that's super handy that you can do that on this version that they came out with. It's kind of a similar thought to the ProPresenter Control, which I guess you can't actually control anything from the ProPresenter Control. But that I haven't looked at that yet. Hold on, David, I'm trying to find yours. And also, Jake, you've been here the whole time. Let's review yours too. If I can find David, I don't see yours. I see 17 others. Dead air. I don't see yours, David. Go ahead and submit it again, bud. All right, Jake. Let's pull yours up, and this will be our final one of the day. Westlake Fellowship. Wide cam is a GH5 with 15mm Lumix Prime. Nice. Tight cam is a Sony PXW X70. A lot of people were getting those there for a while. Side cam, Lumix S1 with a 24-105. That should be pretty nice. And then ATEM Mini Extreme, ProPresenter for Lyrics X32 with a DL32, and it's split to the M32C, and then it goes into the ATEM Mini Extreme. Sony colors are horrible. Have to desaturate it. And then natural profile, sweet. So yeah, let's look at his cameras, and Jake will give you some feedback here because you've been doing a lot of input as well, helping out. I appreciate that. So let's see. Oh, looky here, y'all. There's chapters. Worship starts. Raise a hallelujah. This is Amazing Grace. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
Good morning.
I like that you started on a wide
Y'all ready
shot.
to worship the Lord today?
Even though there was nobody in the room yet, at least it gave me
Amen.
context. And then when she started talking, you went to
I
her.
raise a hallelujah in the
Look how much better that camera looks than those PTCs, guys. It's just so much better.
presence of my enemies. I raise a hallelujah.
Keys sound nice.
Louder than the unbelief. I raise a hallelujah.
And I can hear clapping, even though it seems like maybe a smaller audience. You know, they're there.
Melody. I raise a hallelujah.
Okay.
Heaven comes to fight for me, and I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar up from the ashes. Hope will arise.
I want to see that S1. Is anybody running it yet?
The King is alive. I raise a hallelujah with everything inside of me.
All right, sounds really nice. Let's see. Okay, so here's that side angle. So right now they're just stationary. It looks like stationary cams. There's our wide shot. Let's keep going here. So it looks like, Jake, you got static cams that you're working with. At least like that framing is really nice on her. You got the side shot where you can see her side profile. That's nice. and then you got your wide shot. They match pretty good, like color-wise. I'm just looking at colors. This one seems like it's different than the other two to me. I don't know. I'm just looking at matching. Okay. Yeah, so that's just hard whenever you don't have anybody moving any of your cameras. At least you have some switching going on and stuff like that. But I think your audio mix is definitely solid, super solid. Y'all running any tracks? Because I don't really hear any tracks. We did that one at the beginning. The bass guitar sounds good. Now, I don't know if I love that. Not even a click. As long as you got a really solid drummer with a smaller band, you can get away with that for sure. Jake, there's something about that side shot that I don't love. Like, I wish that it was more over her shoulder. And like, you've got people up on the front rows, it looks like, usually worshiping. Like, maybe if it was a little bit further left and then pointing out to where you can see a little bit of the congregation out of focus worshiping, not focused on them. Maybe even, like, I know you can see the bass player there, but I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of your medium shot because this is your tight shot. I was thinking maybe a tighter shot of her where the people worshiping would be more out of focus if that's the 105. So. Yeah, so what do you do for preaching? Do you have somebody following? Okay, so you got somebody following. That's good composition right there. Waist up. Yeah, that's solid. I wonder what y'all are using for key light. What like color temperature your cameras are at, because it looks pretty clean. Okay. Cool. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on the stream today. You know, I just decided randomly this morning, you know what, I'm going to take the day off tomorrow, actually, since it's summer and my kids are home, and not come up here and work, even though it's going to be a crazy June. It's going to be great, though. We got Vacation Bible School. I've got a youth camp. I've got a lot of videos I'm going to try and put out there and share with you guys. Look for that video, that mic comparison coming up soon. And if you didn't see the Pad King video that I put out yesterday, go check that out if that's interesting to you. We've opened up a new youth center here at our church, so I'm going to be doing a full walkthrough and just kind of a tour of before and after, because it used to just be this old fellowship hall, and did a full renovation on it. So that's coming, and lots of other stuff, man. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and it's Memorial Day weekend. And that means that probably our church attendance is going to be down because people are out at the lake or visiting family or whatever. But don't let that affect you. And you know what? That may even make our live streams hold that much more weight. You may have some more viewers online this weekend. So double check, triple check things before you go live. Maybe test out some new stuff. And remember, we can do a lot of great things, right? But let's do it all for God's glory. All right. Thanks for hopping on the live stream today, guys. And we'll see you when we see you. Have a good one.